The glass wall of his corner office on the 42nd floor offered a breathtaking view of Seoul's skyline, but the man inside it rarely looked up to admire it. His eyes remained fixed on the architectural blueprint spread across his desk. His jaw tight with the concentration, his shoulder carrying the weight of legacy he had never asked for, but was born into. At 24, John Jungkook had built everything that world deemed successful: CEO of Jewel Luxury Construction and Design, a company his grandfather built from nothing and his father expanded into empire. The youngest person to ever hold the position, he proved himself through a sleepless night, flawless presentation, and almost robotic dedication to perfection. But perfection comes at price. His office was immaculate, minimalist furniture in black and grey, a wall lineup with a military prescription on the floating shelf. Not a single personal photograph to warm the school's place. It was a reflection of the man himself, polished, controlled, untouchable. Jungkook leaned back in the leather chair, rolling his neck to ease the tension that had become his constant companion. His reflection in the dark computer screen stayed back at him sharp jawline, piercing dark eyes that rarely softened. Black hair tied perfectly even by the 8 in the night. He looked at successful, he felt like prisoner. He intercom buzzed. Mr. Mike, Secretary, Mr. John, your parents are here to see you. Jungkook's hand paused over the keyboard. Of course they were. They always appeared unannounced, as if to remind him that no matter how high he climbed, he was still under the thumb. Closing his eyes tightly and then opened them with a sigh heavily, he before saying, Jungkook, send them in. He straightened his tie, composed his feature into a mask of dutiful sun, and stood as the heavy doors opened. Mr. John Campbell, his father entered first tall, broad-shouldered, with silver temples, his eye that could freeze water. Mr. John held with reputation on the ruthlessness disguised as business acumen. Behind him, Jungkook's mother, Jung Somi, glided in elegant in a cream Chanel suit. Her expression is pleasant, but her eyes are calculating. Mr. John, welcome you again. I see. Good. That's the dedication that keeps this company at the top. We see her looking at the office as if eyes see the dullness and the Jungkook's eye. We don't want to see the darkness behind his perfect face. All his attention is for work and work. And Jungkook is now expecting something like anything vicious during him. Jungkook, Dad, Mom, I wasn't expecting you. He said, looking at them without any emotion. Mrs. John, a mother doesn't need an appointment to see her son, does she? It unexpected. Jungkook raised his eyebrow after hearing something so unexpected. He saw her face as she smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Mrs. John, we have come to discuss something important. There she comes. Jungkook stopped telling. The employee in the John household meant another obligation, another expectation, another piece of himself he'd have to sacrifice. Mr. John cleared his thought for attention which he gained. Mr. John, the Park family has expressed interest in a merger. The construction material company would be complement our firm perfectly. He said, looking at Jungkook with his friend eyes. Jungkook nodded softly as he knew about. Jungkook, I have reviewed the proposal. The number makes sense. I have a legal team drafted. But he got off when Mr. John touched him. Mrs. John, they have a daughter, Park Mina, 23, educated in Switzerland, very accomplished, beautiful too, judging from knowing where it's going, and they are at most the real reason for the visit. Jungkook, I see. Mr. John, this isn't just a business, son. It's about legacy, about family. The Parks are a respectable family, and Mina would make an excellent wife. You are 24 now. It's time to think about settling down, continue the family line. Jungkook felt something cool settle in his chest. He wanted to scream, to throw something at them, and he didn't want any of this. Not the merger, not the perfect wife, not the legacy built on suffocating expectation. The company to which he gave his day and night, his hard work, his blood, sweat, tears, his uncountable sleepless nights, his years of hard work and merger. How can we say that? He doesn't want a merger. He doesn't want any girl. A perfect wife, excellent wife. No, he doesn't want it. Jungkook feels suffocated. He feels someone holding his throat to the power that he can't breathe. His eyes shaking, taking the power of being used, being under control, being a puppet now. His life decision, his important decision, will be taken by their parents, and that's what always happened from the start. And there is no space for his opinion, his words, his decision. He can't make important decisions of his own life. So instead, he said, Jungkook, I'll consider it without any emotion, without any expression, and without any feeling. Mr. Jones smiled like a ringmaster smiled when his puppet do something he could. Mrs. Jones, we have arranged dinner for next week. The Parks will be joining us to wear the navy blue tom coat suit and Jungkook. She stopped, her voice dropping to something hotter. Mrs. Jones, don't embarrass us. You know how important our parents are. Embarrass? Does he ever embarrass them? Jungkook felt the slightest pain in his heart, but it's for a millisecond. Well, it's nothing new which caused him too much pain to feel. Jungkook knew his parents were never satisfied from him. They are never happy about him. What he did. They left him abruptly as they arrived, leaving behind the faint scent of his bits of perfume and crushing weight of duty. Jungkook returned to his desk, but couldn't focus on the blueprints. they maintained composure. They looked around his office, the momentum to success that seemed more like a race and felt something dangerous deep in his chest, loneliness. Deep bone sore pressure and heaviness. He was surrounded by people all over the day, employees, clients, business partners, but he couldn't remember the last time someone had looked at him and seen John Cook. Not the CEO, not the Junior, just him. John Cook whispered to himself, "Is that all there is?" He looks around the office with his soft, innocent eyes, longing for love and attention. His heart is screaming for love and emotion. The question hung in the empty office unanswered. His phone was with that another crisis, another demand for his attention. John Cook picked it up mechanically, his mouth sliding back to place. But somewhere deep inside in a place, he learned it knew something was breaking. Early morning light filtered through the window of the moving tails, painting everything in shade of gold and rose. Kin Tae Young moved through his flower shop like a dancer in his element, humming softly as he trimmed string and arranged blooms with hand that seemed to understand a language beyond words. At 21, the young had achieved something precious, a life built entirely on his own drum. The shop was small, tucked in a quiet street in Taiwan, but it was his sanctuary, his kingdom of petal and possibilities. The young, talking with the white rose. "Good morning, beautiful. Did you sleep well? Your petal looks extra lovely today." To anyone watching, talking to flowers might seem eccentric, but the young believed every living thing. His grandmother had taught him that the same grandmother who dragged him to the shop and the courage to live authentically. The space reflected his personality perfectly. Vintage wooden shelf overflowing with flowers and ribbons, fairy lights strung across the ceiling, a comfortable reading nook by the window where he often sketched flower arrangement. Soft indie music played from an old radio, and the air was thick with perfume and 100 different blooms. Daya himself was ethereal in his simplicity, soft honey-brown hair falling across his forehead, large expressive eyes the color of warm caramel, full lips that curved easily into a smile. He wore an oversized cream sweater with the sleeves rolled up, dirt smudged jeans and apron embroidered with daisies. He looks up, he stepped out of painting with all gentle curves and soft edges. Young, arranging sunflowers. You guys are going to make someone day so bright. Remember to stand tall, okay? Show them that joy is always possible, even the darkest time. The bell above the door chimed. The Diane looked up at the generous smile. Mrs. Hahn, an elderly woman, entered, her face lighting up at the sight of him. Mrs. Hahn, Yonga, I was hoping you'd be here early. She walked inside with a muted smile and started to. Taeyang, Mrs. Han, oh, of course, I'm always here for my favorite customer. He wrapped his hand on his apron and approached her warmly. Taeyang, what's the occasion today? His smile fingers flew up against side, always bloom like a flower which he admired the most. Mrs. Hart, my granddaughter is visiting from Busan. I want to surprise her with something special. She used to love the flower crowns you made when she was little. Her eyes screaming the loving sentiment she's carrying, and the young half softly seeing her almost jumping. The young's eyes crinkling with details. Oh, I remember little Soha with a missing front tooth. She must be all grown up, Mrs. Hart. 15 now, can you believe it? She widened her eyes as she herself is amazed. Taken. Dan is sneaky like that. He guided her to the work table. Taken. Said, let me make something that make her feel like a princess again. He smiled and walked toward his friend. As Mrs. Han settled down on the wooden stool, the young hand began with moving with a practiced grace, selecting delicate flower. Pink carnation for perfume for a young, white daisies for her innocence, small spring of lavender for devotion. Taeyang, Dan is sneaky like that. He guided her to finish the work table. Taeyang said, let me make something that make her feel like a princess again. Mrs. Han settled on the wooden stool. Taeyang hand began to move in the practice grace, settling delicate flower pink coronation for young love, the daisies for innocent, white spring lavender for devotion. Mrs. Han, you have such a gift, Taeyang, not just with flower but with the people. Taeyang, softly wearing steam together. That's all anyone really want, isn't it? To be seen, to be understood. Flower are honest. They do not pretend to be something they are not. They just bloom exactly as they will to. I think people are the same. If they are given the space to be Mrs. Han, staying with them in real life, your grandmother would be so proud of you, living your truth, following your heart. Taeyang smiled, wavered slightly, something vulnerable in his eyes. Young, I try how mommy taught me that life is too short to be anyone but yourself, even in the world doesn't always understand. Mrs. Han, the right people will understand there that one worth keeping. Young finished the crown, holding it up to the light. It was perfect, a circle somewhere captured in petal, delicate yet sturdy. He smiled, saying it is so perfect, just how it nature. He walked toward Mrs. Han. Young, for Soha, tell her that growing up doesn't mean she has to stop herself in Mrs. Han, I stood with love. You are treasure the younger. After Miss Han left, the young returned to his arrangement, but her word lingered, living his truth. It sounded simple, but he knew how complicated it really was. Being alone in Seoul wasn't easy. He faced whispers of friendship, endured his own parental disappointment when they knew about him being gay. They eventually come to accept him. But he never pretended, never hid him. His grandmother had had his hand through it all, telling him that authenticity was the only path to real happiness. Taeyang, with a cluster of forget-me-not, she was right, her money, it's always been lonely than real, and surrounded by the people while feeling empty inside. The morning continued with a gentle rhythm. A young man buying rose for his first date. The young gave him an extra baby breeze for his life. A businesswoman needing a sympathy arrangement. He crafted something elegant and comforting with the white lilies and soft greens. A little girl with a flower choosing flower for her teacher. The young let her pick each stem. This was the young gift, not just arranging the flower, but understanding the emotion behind each purchase. The students people carried in his shop, he didn't just see bouquet, he offered price of a piece of food. The tangible expression of feeling people struggle to hold by afternoon, he was working on a special project, a massive arrangement for a charity gala, being commissioned by a children hospital, and he wanted to be perfect. Bright joyful colors that would make sick kids smile. He lost himself in the work he filled the movie insistently his heart poured into every basement. The young step into advanced work. Yes, this is it. This is exactly what they needed. His phone was a text from Jamal, his soulmate best friend. Jamal, lunch, I'm starving, and you probably forgot it again. They was like laughing at the clock 2 p.m. Jamal viewing him go. Guilty, come to the shop. I made too much cappuccino last night. 20 minutes later, Park Jimin burst through the door like a whirlwind of energy. Bright pink hair oversized hoodie, the blood is smart and slow. Jimin, like that, you should smile like heaven as always. And you, he pointed at his face. Jimin, yes, why on my face? Because I look in the mirror all the time. Damien laughed at his cheek. Mirrors are overrated. The flower don't judge me. Jimin pulling out his opportunity from Tina Minifleur. Jimin, that's because that have better manners than people. So tell me any interesting customer query as the sat down on the meeting room, sharing the food and story. This was the MJR rap, not money, not status, but the moment like this. Genuine connection, easy laughter, and comfort of being completely understood. This is how come by preparing for our visiting. I am working on a skill color arrangement. Jimmy, the one for the kids, let me see. Tian showed him the work in progress. Jimin's eyes widened at Tian's amazing work. Jimmy, sorry, this is incredible. You are talented and sexually unfair. These kids are going to lose their mind. Tian was passion. I just want them to feel happy even for a moment. They deserve all the beauty the world can offer. Talking about we have the biggest heart. You know that feeling of my hair beside heavily looking out of the window. Then sometimes I feel stupid, but sleeping much care too deeply. Her money is to respond without armor. John, armor speculated your software is your strength, right? Don't ever let anyone convince you otherwise. John said the beauty young and soften with time and done with note. They finished lunch with comfortable chatter. John catch up him in the dance studio where he taught, asking about mutual friend, discussing a new cafe they want to try. After Jimmy left, Theo returned to his flowers, but his mind wandered. He thought about his life as simple, peaceful, authentic. He had his job, his friend, Theo arranging feelings. Maybe it's time to live differently, to give love to everyone who walks through the door, to pour into his flower, to spread it around instead of focusing on just one person. But even as he said it, he felt a small ache. The universal human longing to be someone's reality, to be loved with the same intensity we give to the world. There, whispering to the dreams. Some days maybe it's meant to be, evening light when everything ended. The young left his shop, taking a last look at his little kingdom of gloom. Tomorrow would bring new customer, new stories, new chances to spread beauty in the world. He didn't know that tomorrow would also bring someone who could change completely, someone who needed his life desperately.